And welcome to the episode of Deal Talk. I'm Deal. Let's talk. My guest of the evening is an amazing music recording artist. He's joining us from all the way Perfect Sound Entertainment Studios. Ladies and gentlemen, give a welcome to Oskii. Welcome to the show, brother. How are you?
Thank you, man. Appreciate you having me, man.
It's an honor. Thank you for joining me, man. It's been something that's been cooking up for quite some time.
Yeah, I told you I was gonna be here. Give me some time. I appreciate you reaching out and staying consistent with wanting me. And I couldn't have wanted to be here anymore, man. So
I
I appreciate
appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. I mean, I try to do my best to be supportive and show the world talents like yourself. They're amazing. The world needs to know.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Really.
So I want to dive in because I want people to know you have a new mixtape out.
hmm
So
Yeah,
talk to me a little bit about your mixtape.
yeah. So this mixtape is titled Go.
Mm,
And I got the title from, being absent in music for so long. And I was just like, we all, go through like finding ourselves, being down, coming up again. So, I was going through that process. It's really, really, really personal for me. And like we can get into that some more. But that's where the title came from. It was basically, me listening to God as I was just tapping into my spirit, as I started to like, get the feeling of writing music again.
mm.
I feel like, my spirit was just telling me to go. As much as we like to analyze and think things through and like feel like it's not the right time, there can never be a right time. So it's just as simple as that. I feel like my spirit was telling me like you thought about it for so long, you plan, you write out things just, for so long, just go. And like it all makes sense with how I started to approach music again,
Hmm.
like my writing process and just like where my spirit at was at and like how I was just, feeling the music again. So, that's why I named the title Go. And like I said, it go deeper than that, just the name Go. I went to growing up, I grew up growing to church in my neighborhood. My pastor, he came from Virginia and his grandfather told him, come to Newark. I grew up in the Ironbound section. And so since a kid, I've been like influenced, going to church, getting to know God. And this past summer, I took my little cousin um to a camp out in Atlanta. That's where my pastor is living at now. And he's doing everything that he was doing with me, for the youth in Newark and Ironbound, inviting them to church. So he's doing that out there. And they got this camp out there called Camp Grace. So I took my cousin out there and doing like it was a week straight camp. I'm gonna get to the point. It's just like the
No,
title
don't
really,
worry. I feel you.
the
Don't worry.
title really just it's like bringing me back to where I really like got it from and just continue doing with just sticking to that message. Um, and on Sundays they do Sunday service for the kids and everything. It
Mm,
was a scripture. I believe it was Hebrews 12 through 1 or 12 through 2. I can't remember. And that was the message to go with purpose and without hesitation. So
that's deep.
it really goes that far back to this past summer in 2023. So like I said, throughout the entire year of last year, I just been like tapping into getting back to that place where I know I was, strong at and being myself and tapping into my purpose. So, that passage was what really, like identified, okay, like this is telling me something. So as I came back home after leaving that camp, I continued to like, just focus on that, tap into myself, doing a lot of reading and everything. And like I said, I started to get into the music and I was like, that's it, just go. So,
Mm, yeah, you're
fast
here.
forward, we're here now, and the clips you're seeing are songs, that I'm rolling out every week. And like this music, this is my first time, with like being an artist where I'm putting out music a lot faster. You know what I'm saying? So that's why
Hmm.
I'm like just sticking to the message and sticking to like listening to my spirit and just like don't stop, don't hesitate, just go.
Mm,
So that mixtape
that's
is
beautiful.
thank you, man. Every week, like I said, I'm uploading a new song onto SoundCloud, and these are just these are industry beats that I'm rapping over. But if you got to listen to the messages and like what I'm talking about, you know. And for me, it feel good. It's fun. Like I said, these are industry beats, so it's just like a warm up phase for me. You
Mm.
know, ready for like what I really got written and like what I really want to put out and like push. So yeah, man. I know that was long, and I
No,
know you
no, don't worry.
bored, but
Don't apologize. That's deep.
yeah, man.
That's deep. You know,
That,
what I fascinate the most is that you're going back to what mixtapes were back in the day and were industry beats. And
yeah.
you put your 16s or you freestyle, whatever the case may be. But
Mhm.
that essentially is a mixtape. Now
Yeah.
mixtapes are, people will like treat them like albums.
Yeah. It's different now.
So
Yeah.
that's dope. That's
Appreciate
super dope. And what I find what I find incredible about your story is that you're someone who's been actively working, inspiring, supporting the youth from
Yeah.
going to schools to helping the community, putting yourself out there and asking, hey, well, how can I help you? Or check
Mhm.
this out. How can you help me inspire others?
Yeah.
So it connects. So don't apologize, brother. I feel that.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, that's what it's about with me, man. Like, you know, like I said, I wasn't perfect. I was once that artist that was just desperate to oh, I gotta get on the radio, or I gotta do this. But like
Hmm.
where I'm at now, that's not what God has planned for me. You know what I'm saying? Like I had to really go through a phase and understand that and keep running into a wall till I finally, you know, saw like, yo, God got something greater like for you.
Hmm.
Like you gotta see that. And through this whole journey, I would say this whole last year, 2023, I just been like, you know, I just been seeing it. I just been seeing it. So like this mixtape, it only get better. It only get better, man. Like I said, I feel like I'm sharing my testimony on this mixtape and I'm having fun with it. Like I felt like I've gotten better just like with my writing and everything. So I'm excited, you know, for you to hear these new songs that's not out yet. Like I said, I'm uploading new songs every week, you know, just like trying to find that pace of staying consistent and just going,
Hmm.
not stopping, like not worrying about the view, not worrying about nothing.
Hmm.
Because I feel like I'm at a place where I have a stronger connection with God, and he's shown me he got me back the path of what I need to be doing. So, you
Hmm.
know, I'm just vision locked in, and I'm just going, man. I'm just
I
going.
feel that 100%, man. If you build it, they will follow, right?
Exactly.
If you build it, they will follow.
hmm
And consistency is the key for everything.
Yeah.
Key for everything. Just keep doing, a lot of artists and in general industries, the more you become undecisive and trying to push out there and be a perfectionist, the longer people are gonna have to wait to listen where you're doing.
And that's exactly like where I am. I would say I was that person, like, you know, wanting to be a perfectionist and you know, I feel like that's all artists. Like,
Mm.
you know, you have a great song, but you don't put it out. You know,
Hmm.
I'm at that phase where, and like I said, it's just like moving with my spirit, you know, just going. And like you said, the people gonna come.
Hmm.
Stay consistent and just keep going.
Hmm.
Don't lose that energy that you have. Like it's all about
Yeah.
energy. It's all about energy. You know, you can have this interview. I feel like it's gonna be great. It's all about the energy. You put it out there.
100. Yeah.
You never know who it's gonna connect with. You know, and next thing you
Hmm.
know, everybody rep, yo, we gotta go to Theo podcast, yo, next week.
Let's go. You already know.
So yeah, man.
But that's the whole thing, right? And where we have this perspective and where like everything should be perfect, right? But until you put it out there and become your own critic, right? And we're like, you have to put it out there and then from afar look at what you put out there. And then you start nitpicking, okay, I could have done this better. I could have done this better. Now the next one is even better than when you put out. But if you don't put
Mhm.
it out there to the world and see your work of art, because as a musician, as a rapper, as somebody who throws bars and MC, you're an artist.
Yeah.
Your form is the ideology is poetry in motion.
hmm
So you must put it out there and study what you're doing. Then if not, then how can you perfect your craft?
That's right. You right on with it, man. It's no better explanation than that than what you just said, for real.
How can I ask what was that hiatus? What was that the reason why you took that long break that you stated before?
Like now that I look at it, I feel like I was just growing.
Mm,
I haven't made that time in my life to really better myself. So like my attention was going like everywhere else in the midst of like having what God blessed me with, like
mm,
right here, like knowing it, but still dealing with this challenge of like, okay, Oski isn't really, the man he is isn't really like focused yet. He isn't really. I was focused. I wouldn't say I wasn't focused, but I was going through like a growing phase of like building myself up, getting myself stronger. And it kind of like, it took me off track. And it was hard for me to try to like, get back to everything that I was doing. Cause like, we had the book back tour going on since 2017,
mm.
you know? So like it was like hard knowing like you said, I'm doing a lot for the community, for the youth. Like that's who I am. So it's hard for me to try to like get back in tune, you know? It took
Yeah.
some time.
No, you were burned out. You were burned out.
Yep. A little bit of everything played into effect, man. Like family, personal, just like I was literally burnt out. Literally,
Yeah.
that's that word. Like I experienced that and it's like, man, you don't know where to like, start from. You
Yeah.
looking and I was seriously, I was burnt out.
Yeah. I can totally relate. I can totally relate. You were burned out, you know, and in that burnout you begin to, you know, question yourself, is this worth it? Is this gonna happen? How much longer? How much work? It happens to me. three
Yeah.
years in the making, winning awards and shit. And I
Right.
still ask myself that
Yeah.
because it's burned out. You're burned out, family, finance, relationships, the world that we're going
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
Every time we walk out of our house, there's something crazy going on.
It's everything, man. Yeah. So that was definitely me, man. So I would say it was me definitely just growing and being burnt, recognizing that I was just burnt out by everything. And that would led me to see that, okay, I need to get back to me. I need to tap back into me.
Mhm.
And then everything else just like started coming.
I hear that. I hear that. What's your writing process when you like? Is it a moment of inspiration? Is it a thought? Is it a conversation? Is it a message you heard that came to you that an idea just is born and okay, I'm gonna go with this and start writing? Like, how is it for you?
So it's a little bit of everything. I would say my writing process for me is definitely a challenge because I'm very how can I say it? I'm very hard on myself with making sure that I give a message like in my music. So like I would say this mixtape Go that will be on SoundCloud every week. Like this was a more direct, fun, and like how can I say it? Like testimony type of, it's like a combination of everything. So like the process for this mixtape has just been like God has just been like God in my pen, like everything. So it's just like
Mm,
it was more of a magical like process. Like it was just flowing. Like I said, I never like throughout my years of writing, I would write a verse and I would get back to it like the next
mhm,
day
mhm,
and I'll go back and it would be like, like it would be like hesitation and it would be like a process of writing it. But this mixtape, it was just like flowing. I was getting songs done, like I was getting the verses done. I was getting them done. I was getting them done. So I would say I got a little bit of like everything. When I'm really focused on like a topic. I even like, like, I feel like as artists, all just creatives, I feel like we grab inspiration from like everywhere, from like watching a movie, like, interviews, like certain topics of like conversations, like we would think to, oh, I need to like, I want to talk about that.
mm,
So like I like doing that as well. It take me and I won't get to them, for a long time, but like, you know, let me go back to my notes. I want to actually make a song out of this. But yeah, overall, my process is it's difficult, man, because like I said, I have to be leaving you something in my music. I'm
Mm.
not, I'm not the artist. I don't make music just to be like rapping and like just to have the whole, image of wanting to look like an artist and feel like an artist and all that. Like my music I want it to connect with your heart and your mind. So like my process could be very difficult and yeah, a little bit of everything, man. A
No, I
little bit
hear
of
that.
everything.
I hear that. It's
Yeah.
it's when you're trying to connect, mind, body, and soul and heart. The tedious of writing. It's difficult. It's challenging because each word is so critical. It has to
Yeah.
serve it has to serve a purpose. It's like God continues to enlighten you because
Mm-hmm.
he has a purpose for you. The same thing goes with the words you write down on a piece of paper, and you try to form a phrase or a bar and get
Yeah.
it out there. So it has to be purposeful. I get it
Mm-hmm.
100%.
Yeah, man. I love it. It's a challenge for me because we all push ourselves. It's like when you get it and it's flowing, for me, just speaking of my experience, it's like, yeah, wow, yeah, this feel good. This is it. This is it right here. Yeah, man.
I hear that. You keep saying testimony. You put in this vibe, and
Mhm.
I want to ask you, like, how's that conversation with God? Because to have that certain enlightenment, to have that certain face, there has to be a point in time when we're like, you guys are in sync, and that conversation has to be the break each barrier, each
Mhm.
each obstacle that led you to basically pause.
Mhm. Yeah.
Can you
Yeah.
can you describe a little bit how
Yeah, I
you
definitely
think that
can, man.
was?
We was growing closer and closer the more I would seek him through like many different ways. Like I was listening to a lot of Christian music,
Mm,
and like I always have been. But like I said, it's like last year was the year when I was just like working on me, keeping faith and knowing that he's here with me. And it's like the more and more I kept seeking and getting closer through music, I started reading books and like little Bibles that my pastor gave me after leaving Atlanta, you know, and praying. Like I love to pray when I'm in the shower. Like, that's when I feel like I'm just like in deep presence with
mm.
God. I talk about my day and just like the next day, the next morning, just praying, just giving him, just thanks. And yeah, so I feel like as I was just like doing all that, I was just start to feel him. And throughout that process, like I would write a lot of my music at work because I'm in the booth. I got nothing but time to myself. And like you said, we think, is this gonna happen? Am I gonna get back there? And my whole like the most like powerfulest thing that I know I have with getting somewhere with my music is everything that I'm doing with the youth.
Mm.
So I always just would thinking like, how am I gonna get back there? Like, how am I gonna get back there? So, just to speed it up, when one day I was in a booth and I was writing this new song that I'm working on, and just to give you the bars that I wrote when I felt him actually like working. I said, I'm just trying to think of the bars. Let me just go to it because I'm just like lifted right now, man. I'm lifted. I'm lifted. Apologize.
No worries, no worries.
I said, if you woke up today, you're winning. It's as simple as that. Enough thanks isn't given. Try giving yourself a second. Be calm, present, and listen to what you're feeling. Data ought to be able to fix it. If money what you tripping over, then get out and get it. Having this cool hits a lot different when you're rich in spirit. Blessings are promised to pay you an unexpected visit each and every time, on time. Each and every time, all times, in all forms, not just financially, it's up to you to recognize them all. Each one you accept becomes a new piece of your puzzle solved, no new piece around my neck. God is kept at the center of my heart. I flex his presence faithfully. For him, I'm going overboard, show no remorse. For anyone going against where the lines get drawn, I'm shining this light of mine through darkness. And to those that's currently lost, I got my power back. This time won't nothing make me turn it off. So like when I was right there with it, I went on my lunch break and I got a phone call. And it was from a school that wanted to book me to come in to do what I do with the kids.
Mm,
And remind you, this call was the first call since 2019. And like I said, during COVID and like after that of me like being broken down, like just like losing, like just not knowing where to start with nothing. Like, I didn't downplay that phone call because, you know, these past few years, I was never contacted. You get what I'm saying? So
mm,
like immediately, like after those bars that I just wrote down, 10 minutes into that, like I got this phone call. And like I said, I'm a real deep, like spiritual person and I honor God and I know that like he's the source, to everything. And I'm still growing and I'm still learning. But, you know, I didn't like I took that serious, and now I felt like that was my sign from God to like, you're ready. You might not think you're ready, but I got you.
mm,
And since then, like I said, I've been working on still writing a mixtape. Like everything is just flowing for me. And that was my sign. And that was the end of January this year. So coming into this year, I got that phone call and I'm like, this is my sign right here. He's gonna get me through everything I need to get through to get back to my purpose and what I do with my music.
mm. I hear that. God bless.
Yeah.
Is it in a world right now that everything appears to be uncertain, right? And where that if anything, the youth right now needs more guidance than ever, right? Is it difficult at times to connect with them without
Yeah.
sounding like how do I say preachy and whatnot? Because that's one thing the youth nowadays can really uh identify.
hmm
And when you're trying to be too preachy to them, like
It,
is it difficult for you?
it's not, man. It's not. And I tell you, I want to, if you ever had the time, I would like to invite you to a show. Our shows is in the morning during school hours. And to answer your question, it's not, man. I feel like God laid it all in me to like to 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 do it without having the kids get bored, without having them feeling like I'm too preachy.
Mm,
Yo, when it comes to the youth, I just feel like it's a God-given gift of me being able to like connect with any child.
mm,
Like I feel like it's no challenge for me. Like I feel like it's no challenge for me. And that's why I feel like I'm like I'm gonna take it really far and it's just like it's easy for me. It's so easy. I lie to you not. I do not feel like I don't get that vibe from the kids at all. They love it. Like, my first show that I'm telling you about that I had, it was February 19th, just a little while ago. And the principal at the end of the show, he was like, yo, you you anointed, brother. This is
mm,
like nobody could come in here and like get these kids excited like this while still giving them a real powerful positive message and having them get up and have fun and enjoy the music, but still like soaking everything in that you're talking about. And it's just something that I know that's just in me. That's why I gotta go. You get what I'm saying?
I
Like
hear
that's
that.
why
Yeah, I hear that.
I feel like, this time around, being at, my age, I'm 30, and I feel like, with anything we want to do, like, you can't, we ain't got time.
Mm,
No, We
Listen,
got time. It's
after after 30, man, it's time goes it
what
goes down fast.
conversation, conversation, conversations and pressure, I feel with my fiance, us work, building on us is like, so I really took like this time right now, like you gotta go.
Hmm.
You gotta go and do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
How's your how much is because you have a partner, right? Mixed by
Mhm.
Clay, right? How much
Yes, sir.
influence, shout out to him,
Mhm.
especially to him, shout out to him. How much influence, like
Yeah,
how is that relationship? Because when I see him and I speak to him and I see what he does, he's a person you can tell he loves what he does. Like that like it feeds his soul.
yeah,
How is that relationship like and how motivating it is to work with one another.
man. You know, my fiance said it best. She said me or like we share the same brain.
Mm.
If that makes sense.
Yeah,
And it's like, I'm smiling because like,
it's
yo,
Kobe and Shaq.
I'm yeah, it's like, yo, I'm like as much as he big me up, I give him, I say like I'm nothing without him when it comes to like, what we do with music. And I would just whole relationship goes back to high school back in 2012. We met at the beginning of when, I decided to do music. And that was when went through a real rough time, in high school as a junior, being in the streets, hanging with the wrong people at the wrong time. I was locked up and dealing with conspiracy charges for, a bunch of stuff. On top of that, one of my cousins had got killed in the street. So that was a real big change in my life. And like, that inspired me to want to do music. So like, I was writing my raps. I would go to school and I met Clay. I met Clay and I forget what class it was. But we met then, and I would never do my work. I would just be like writing my raps and my music, and he's like, "Yo, you do music?" I'm like, "Yeah." So from there, we just clicked. Like at that moment, it was like us just like, "All right, cool, come on, we down." Yeah, yeah. Just on
Do
some
it,
like
yeah.
some high school stuff. So our relationship like has really been built to this very like strong and like just like I would say we raised our skills together and making music for so long together. We really got like a chemistry that's like magical,
Mm,
Like
that's beautiful.
we got a chemistry that's so magical. Like we know what each other's thinking. We ain't even got to be around each other. Like we know, you know, and it's so great because like I said, we built this brand, this movement, and what's a plus about it is that we both bring two different things to the music. I bring the rhymes. He also bring the rhymes. He might not be able, he not as skilled to express it how I can while we're writing, but he's the musical component, the production, the the producer, so we both bring something to the music that's just so great from
Mm,
everything that we make, man. And that's my dog right there.
mm,
That's my man. It's like, I man, I tell him like, yo, you don't know, you think I'm making this song great, like you making this song great.
mm,
Like, we got that type of chemistry, man. And like you said, you can see it. You can see it in somebody when they just like really love something and they know they like great at it. So yeah, man, shout out to Clay, man. That's like none of what I do is like possible without him, man.
mm,
Like nothing from production to like, business, like taking care of business, like everything, like I know a lot and he know a lot. So that's what makes, our company, from artist standpoint and from like taking care of business so great, man. Like that's my dog right there.
mm. I hear that. See,
So yeah.
this is where I feel like you two have a partnership and where you guys are blessed because you guys are two.
Mhm.
You guys, it's not that you're talented or hard work, it's the fact that you are obsessed with this.
Yeah.
And when you're obsessed with something, it'll beat talent and hard work any given day.
Yeah.
And that's a fact. You know, I remember my first jiu-jitsu competition. I tore my own ACL because I didn't want to lose. I didn't
It's
want to lose.
yeah,
I ended up finishing up the match. I walked out, but I was obsessed.
that's powerful right there.
You feel me? And
Yeah.
that would be anything. And the unfortunate part when you're obsessed with something, not everyone is an understanding with that. Not everyone's going to see the vision that you put in the work for. Not
Hmm.
everyone's going to accept the sacrifices you're willing to do and go to achieve what you feel is your ultimate happiness.
Absolutely.
You know,
It's gotta
there's gonna be countless arguments whether in your relationship. There's gonna be countless thoughts if you're speaking to people with small minded.
hmm
It's gonna be an uncomfortable conversation when you're spending money on something you believe because when you're doing this, bro, you gotta like they say 3 to 5 years for any business, 3 to 5 years to see a return.
hmm
Sometimes it's going to be 5 years where you're not going to see nothing coming into your pocket.
For us, it's 10. And like I said, me and Clay met 2012.
Hmm.
2014 was when we actually started to like, work on a serious project. And like I'm grateful for the process because like you said, it take longer than that. It take longer than
Hmm.
that. I didn't mean to cut you off. I
No,
just thought
no,
about
no. Speak your
it.
truth. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, man. Sometimes it's difficult. It's difficult too when you gotta make that sacrifice with family and your partner if you're in a relationship, because I went through that. It took me a lot to really like, understand because when you so locked in on your vision and like what you want, it's difficult. It's difficult to like make that sacrifice and try to make somebody that you love believe and like, it's
Yeah,
a lot, man. But like
yeah.
I said, you gotta just you gotta be mindful of that. You gotta make some space in your mind for, what people got to say, but still just,
Yeah,
go no matter.
even with that, fuck that. Part of my life is fuck that.
I get it. I get it.
And if my mom watches this because she's gonna watch this, she'll understand when I say fuck them, just
Yeah.
like that. Do you know why? Because I'm gonna use myself for example. I've turned down a $65,000 a year job just to focus on building my platform. I will go out and work 2, 3 months, 6 months to provide for my family, do what I got to do, then just resign to continue building my platform. I'll have arguments and discussion, and when people small minded, they don't understand what value I could bring. And
Hmm.
in doing this, you have to understand that it's not simply just quit your 9 to 5 to achieve your dream. You have to have some substantial income to continue to invest. So I'll go
Yeah.
out, do what I gotta do, then come back, go out while still doing this. And you become insane. But not everybody understands that.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't come to as you envision it, you say fuck it. Because you
Yeah.
rather go and do something and try it than do nothing at all.
Yeah. That's where it start to haunt you at.
Mhm. And
Where
I
it
can't
haunt
listen to and I have these conversations. I have this conversation. I can't emphasize more how I have these conversations and where people constantly tell me, what if it doesn't happen? Then so what? Then so what?
you. You should try. I wanna fill in on what you just said. I got a mentor that's where I'm from. He's a lot older than me, since I was a kid, I always looked up to him because he was like that positive figure from our projects that was like doing the right thing. And we recently had a conversation and he was just giving me gems. Like, I haven't caught up with him in so long and it was just great just to just talk to him. And he was like, yo, with anything you do, what's the worst that can happen? And he was like, get better.
There you go.
Like, what's the worst that can happen? So when you say like all these people, yo, what if like that shit might not work? What if like it's not about that. Yeah, I'm locked in on wanting it to work, but what's the worst that can happen? I'm gonna get better. Like you said, take every business, well, most business, 3 to 5 years to start, to get a spark to get somewhere that they wasn't before. And it's like, what's the worst that can happen, man? I
Mhm.
can get like, yeah, we gonna take losses, but I'm gonna get better at whatever
Mhm.
it is I'm doing. You're gonna get better at being podcast host. I'm gonna get better as a both of us as entrepreneurs, me as an artist, like we gonna get better. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's challenging, man. It's challenging when like having people in your ear and listening and now you just gotta keep going, man.
No, man, I have this. See, when I was growing up, it was just me. It was just me. Everything
Mhm.
I learned is through my mistakes and watching other make their mistakes. The only person who really had an influence in my life was Stone Cold Steve Austin, a merely character from wrestling.
Yeah.
That's all it was. He had this mentality of fuck it, I'm gonna go to my boss. I'm a Stone Cold Stunner, and I'm gonna whoop everybody's ass, and we gonna get this done.
Ah, I love it. I find that so funny.
You
I
feel
love
me? You
it.
you look at my mentality, my way of being, and you compare. I'm no different. I'm exactly that because that's how I see life. This this life's gonna take out of you no matter what.
Hell
So
yeah.
therefore, you know you gotta brush your shoulders, get back up,
Mhm.
and start opening a can of whoop ass. Whether it's your dream, whether it's a relationship, whether you gotta fight back. Because life is
Yeah.
a give and take, and if
Mhm.
you can't be always like you can life is gonna hit you, but you gotta learn to hit back. This is a give and take. If you keep letting it pound you down, you're never gonna do anything. Your doubts are gonna
Yeah.
overcome you. This is where the like men's mental health is at its worst. At its
For-
worst.
Yeah.
And I don't speak of any opinion, I speak of mine because I've been doing it for so long.
Mhm.
And what triggers me continues like I'm at a point that like I don't ask people to come on the show, they just come.
Yeah.
That's a blessing because that's the point. Like people don't understand. It only takes one person to share your music. It only takes one person to hear your music. It only takes one person to purchase your album. It only takes one person to show your support and gratitude.
Yep.
It only takes one, not two, not three. The right person will share it and put you on a pedestal that the world will hear you coming,
Mhm.
whether they like it or not.
You're right.
And
You're right.
it's all about hustling and then how you hustle. Because as you
Mm.
get older, you got to be smarter. You got to be wiser.
Yeah.
You feel me? And you got to keep showing up. And fucking 99% of the time, success is just showing up.
Yeah.
99% of the time, success is showing up, and that's
Mhm.
all you have to do.
Yeah. You're absolutely right, man. Open up a can of whoop ass. I like that terminology right there. It's real though, man.
It,
It's
but
real.
it like I wasn't in the street, but I survived the streets. It was just me. It
Yeah.
wasn't mom, dad, grandma. It was just me. I'm comfortable. Like I'm created. My way of being is created. It's created under pressure
Hmm.
because growing up, like I grew up in PR. It was just me. I became the legend. I got the respect because like I could take an ass whooping more than I can give it. But it wasn't the fact I was fighter or whatever. It was my tenacity of willing to keep going and going. They didn't
Hmm.
fear me how I big I was. They didn't fear me how good I could fight. They fear me because I wouldn't stop. And I just keep showing up.
Yeah.
And every punch I would take and every time I would get jumped, I would keep going. It was
Another.
just me. And when you're alone, it's like being alone on an island. And it was just you, it's only up to you to get out of there and to survive. So what are you going to do? You
Mm.
made a mistake. Don't dwell on a mistake. Keep going. Mistakes are meant for you to have, to do. Because if you don't make mistakes, how the fuck are you going to be able to keep going? How are you going to learn? How are you going to progress?
Exactly.
How are you going to how you how are you going to identify the difference between being hungry and starving?
Mm.
And,
True.
and like you, where you got that enlightenment, your testimony, you got tired of being hungry, you're starving. Let's eat.
Yeah. 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 I'm at that. I'm at that point. Exactly, man. That was a great explanation, man. I'm
I'm
at
sorry I
that point.
rambled a little
Oh,
bit.
man, I love it, man. I love it. I love it. I love conversation, man. Like I'm starving now, like you said, going through so much learning, falling. I even go back to like when I came to you, I know you and your wife have a
Yeah,
um clothing brand
printing
company.
shirts. Yeah,
Well, printing,
yeah.
printing company. Just that when I was heavy on that, like learning, taking losses, like gotta keep going because I see something with this.
Hmm.
Got it. got to keep going.
It's your and it's your brand.
Yeah.
And nobody could like this is like I when I first started Dream Inspire Obtain, I thought it was a shirt, I thought it was a clothing line, but then I quickly understood myself, like I can't have people wearing my stuff that don't represent what I'm trying to represent. So I took a step back in that and started doing printing, but printing that came with a hassle with himself. Well, like when you came was like my wife got sick, then I got sick, then my wife got
Oh,
sick,
good.
then
Me
my kids got sick.
too.
Like it was like an unfortunate sick event that just kept occurring. And that's one of my regrets because I couldn't help you, and I apologize for that.
Nah,
But
we it's all good, man. I got it. We
life
ain't even
happens.
gonna do that up here. Life happens, man. Outside of what we trying to achieve is life. And out there in life,
Hmm.
a whole lot happen, man. So it's all good, man. It's all good. Yeah.
What is like what are the music individuals that inspire you to do what you do?
Man, my
Like who do you lay back and listen to just have a mellow musical conversation within your mind and your soul?
well, J. Cole is that's my favorite like go-to
Mm.
artist. Like lately, I know you're a hip hop fan. He recently dropped the project. We know there's a whole lot of chahos going on in hip hop right now.
Hmm.
But like recently, I haven't been like listening to any hip hop, man. Like I told y'all in the beginning of the interview and podcast, I've been listening to like a lot of like Christian music. I just been like feeding my spirit and just staying near because it's just like, it's working through me, man. But J. Cole, that's my overall like favorite artist because he showed me, me from my area and like him, he can let who his favorite artist was and how they inspire him. It trickles on. But for me, like he was the artist that really showed me how to like paint a picture and like tell a story with like music, for like for being that artist for my generation. And I found that so like powerful. Like, man, this guy just like told me this whole like story. So like that right there really like inspired me. Like, yeah, I wanna make music like that because I know that's my character. I know that like that's my personality. I'm such a like serious person. So, him that's what really like hooked me on to J. Cole. I like a lot of people, man, but I can't tell you like like off rip. I would say, J. Cole, but like recently, like for me, like being inspired, I catch a like I would be inspired by like a certain project that drop or whatever, and like I would stick with that for a while. Like Nas recently went on a run with,
Mm.
all of the albums and everything, and like I just been tuned into that. I'm not one to go like all over the place. I do have a lot of artists that I'm inspired, but I just don't want to throw names out there because like I said, I'm not really like,
You're inspired by music.
yeah, I'm inspired by music, man. It can be anything, man. Like the past few years, I've been finding great music from like different genres that just been like
Yes.
connecting,
Speak
that just
about it.
been, that just been connecting with my spirit. Like my fiance would tell you, like, man, this guy be listening to like, and it just feeds my soul, man. Like a lot of like Afrobeat stuff. Like I just been like diving into a lot of different music, man. But like when we speak on like being a type of artist I am, like, my inspirations are J. Cole's, the Nas. I love the conscious stuff, man.
Those are the fits. Those are the philosophy of it, the
Yeah,
philosophy of life, and wordsmith, and all that good stuff. So like
yeah,
that's dope.
yeah, man.
That's
Definitely.
that's mostly the things that like I wouldn't say I'm a fan of somebody. I'm just a fan of music. Like I jumped in recently, not too long ago, into uh Christian music. You know,
Hmm.
um, then I like to listen to a lot of country. Because it just they have good songs, but they tell a story. You feel me?
And music, like, it just sets a mood. It sets a mood for you. You know, it
Hmm.
can really hit the switch for you and like put you like in a different place, man. Music is great, man.
Yeah. See,
Love music.
one thing I try to avoid, I can't listen to like these guns and violence type of music like you hear on on what is it, the Breakfast Club, that station.
I don't even listen to the radio no
No,
more.
I can't listen to it because I have a problematic soul. Like I mentioned before, you know, you know,
I get it,
so I gotta
man.
avoid those things. You
Like
know what I'm saying?
make you want to slam the radio, turn the radio off, and like,
Yeah,
yeah, man.
but
But
I
yeah,
get it, man.
I love music. I love music overall, man. But you know, when you ask me, like, I really stick to like expressing, you know, how much like I feel about J. Cole, because like I
Mhm.
said, during my come up, that's who I was listening to as I was like, you know, seeking into like who I am as an artist and like, you know, what type, who am I gonna be? What am I gonna talk about? And like his music was just like hitting different, man. It was just touching my soul.
I think Jacob's like he has this therapeutic way of
Hmm.
having a conversation in his music, which is something that I fascinate since
Hmm.
like was it Friday Night Live or something like that,
Lights, classic.
right? And he kills the beat. He kills the beat because you can't deny anything about it. But
Yeah,
I understand where you're coming from because it's highly contagious and inspiring and
yeah.
much needed because the topic you choose to speak about, it's like it's a conversation we need to have as people.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely, man.
Do you remember the first time you like your first rhyme, like the first time you completed 16 bars?
Yeah, a long time ago,
Or
man.
like the first song you ever recorded?
Yeah, the first official song that I ever made. I don't know if you ever backtrack into our discography. It's called Shorty So Fine. You know, it's a nice pop like R&B, you know, vibe. And that was my first like official song. Like I wrote stuff before that because me and my other great friend who like does music with us, D Train. Now you probably saw him, you know, on Instagram on my page and everything. He would come to my house every day when I was on house arrest going through my situation, you know, with the
Mm.
law in trouble. And we would have nothing but time on our hands. You know, I couldn't go outside. So like we would just write music, write freestyles and like upload them onto YouTube and everything. So that was my process where I was learning how to be a songwriter. And some great songs came out of that time, you know, but I wasn't like fully developed to the
Mhm.
point where I really would say, you know, Shorty So Fine was like my first official song. You know, we got like I got my man's Enigma on it. So he's a brother of my friend Train, which is they are best friends, you know. So like it's always like our beginning when we first started, we always had like a lot of people who were just like talented, but it just turned out to be like who you know right now. You know, but yeah, Shorty So Fine was my very first official song. I remember that.
That's dope. That's dope.
Long time ago, man.
What
Yeah.
is what is like, and I asked this to numerous artists I've had on the show, and
Mhm.
they don't really know how to explain it or just don't know
Mhm.
because it's a question I ask myself all the time. Like today, I asked myself like 5 or 6 times, like, and I want to ask you when it comes to this music, this vision, this dream, right? Because it's only a vision when you keep it in your head. It becomes a vision when you start practicing it and working towards it, right?
Mhm.
Like, what is your goal? What is your purpose once you establish and you achieve your vision? Like, what do you want from it? Like,
I'm-
example, like I'm gonna give you an example. Like for me, right? My vision, I want to
mhm.
break the damn world. I want
Say,
to break the damn world. Like, perfect example. Like people often say they're stuck in a matrix,
mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And they're always talking about how to escape it. They never
Mhm.
talk about how to break it. So,
Mm.
in that conclusion, why try to escape something that's going to keep happening? Why not break it and solidify your presence and don't let this happen?
And that's a great way. That leads me into my answer, actually. I want to be able to come back to my city and see that the kids that want to be on the corner are now respectful to themselves, people in their community. I want to see that. I want to see that they owning a building, they owning a corner store. Like I want to see. I want my music to bring that change. Because, like you said, how could you? How you said it, how could you escape? Why would you want to keep escaping
Yeah.
something instead of just like completely just ending it? You know what I'm saying? So that's what I want to see. Like I want to see real change, man, because like I'm sick and tired of it, from even like my personal family, like just those curses. Like when I really think about it, man, I want to see the the,
You
the
want to break the cycle.
yeah, I want to share something with you about that. I want to see the my people hit the switch. I want to see them hit the switch. And it's deeper than that. We know it is deeper than like, when we think about people that look like us, black and brown people, why we just continue to just like continue this cycle, you know? Like it's deeper than that. So that's what I want, man. Like at the end of it, like I want to see real change, like in my people, like in Newark, New Jersey, in the most fucked up area in Newark, New Jersey. I want to see that change from my people, man.
And
That's 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 what I want to, that's where I want my music to like take me, like at the end of it, like you said, when I reach those goals and those visions, man, I want to be able to walk through the streets of Newark and 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 see like just a major change within like my people. And I know that's probably been said before, but like when you ask me that question as an artist, like
mhm.
that's how much I want to like impact and inspire my people that look like me and you.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Thank you, man.
I would to that I would I consider myself I don't consider myself I am a journalist. I sit
Absolutely.
down and I see, I observe, I analyze. My job is never to uh judge, but to present you with the factual information that I've
Mhm.
able to obtain in conversation
Yeah.
and present to those hearing or watching. These are the facts.
Mhm.
You got to make a choice of
Yeah.
what you choose to tie yourself with, believe, whatever, right? I think
Mhm.
what's happening and generation curse and everything in people, society, whether black, white, purple, green, whatever color may be, is we have to learn how to grieve. We have to go through these, was it the 5 stages of grief? Because we're like pain is real.
Yeah.
Pain is real. But I'll tell you from personal belief that through pain, you will learn. This
Mhm.
is why you have men, like yourself, pushing yourself in the gym. Me, martial arts. They need that. They need that thing to suffer so they can grow.
Mhm.
But sometimes we as people, us as men, we stay in that pain. There's no
Mhm.
we don't reach the surface. We just stay there. We need to grieve. We need to overcome anger. We need to come to acceptance, and we need to go through that cycle and being able to move on.
Mhm.
It's a way of accountability. Accountability. If we don't go through that cycle, we will never move on. We will
Yeah.
stay in relationships, right? And relationships, and we're like only reminiscing in fear of what traumatic event they went through. Oh, you cheated on me. Oh, I can't trust you. And then you get to a new relationship, and then you come on with that same perspective because you never grieved, you never went through your emotion, you never dealt with it.
Yeah, that's real, man.
If you're able to teach that to the youth subconsciously, whatever, which already you're doing in your music, they're able to move on and be great
Mhm.
and say, this was tough, this was painful, but I came through this. Not
Mhm.
worse, but better.
Yeah.
And they can help you build the future you envision. Because
Mhm.
it doesn't take one person, it takes one person to inspire, but it takes a community, a group of people to help build it together.
Absolutely right. It takes
Feel
a
what I'm
village.
saying?
A village. Yep. Yeah. You're right, man. You're absolutely right.
But how will we know if we don't have these conversations?
Exactly.
It can't be always who's right or wrong. It has to be open to understanding one another. And I see where you're coming from. I don't agree with it, but I see and understand where you're coming from. That's
Yeah.
the only way.
It's something very important that, just people overall in general, no matter what you look like
Mm,
you that that grieving process of just like identifying what needs to be done, you know, for a better world
mm,
in the future as people. Like, and I even, just telling you my testimony, like I feel like I've been going through that. I haven't had any like, thank God, no traumatic, you know, nothing going on in my life, but still just grieving and building yourself up to be stronger and like having that patience and being open to listen, no matter if you don't agree, just like you said, but willing to listen. That's how it start. We got to communicate. I'm hard. I can be hard headed. I can
so
be hard
yeah, right,
headed,
man.
and like I've learned that just like shut up, shut up, and just listen. You know? Yeah, man.
But
Yeah.
people are listening to you. That vision, that dream's getting a blink of an eye, and the least of your words gonna be, damn, where's the struggle? Because
Yeah. One day, man. One day, man. Like what's one beautiful thing that I'm just like taking in throughout this time and like growing. I'm glad I got to understand. It's like, man, it's not about money, man. Yeah, like we need it to survive. We needed to provide to our families, but it's like, what impact, what change are you are you really making? What is your true purpose, in this world? And I just been like waking up, just reminding myself of that every day and just like going through my days, man. Just, just like
Yeah, yeah.
getting it done, man. Yeah, I really see a big difference. And I still got a lot to do, a long way to go, but I'm just thanking God for all of it, just like, you know, giving me the vision again.
No, and God is real, bro. God is real. I'm not
Yeah.
a religious person. I'm very much like you, spiritual,
Mhm.
but he real, bro. He's real. I remember my times in need. You know, I used to sleep in this basement, right? And I'm forever grateful of it. I,
Mhm.
I don't disregard any of it. I'm grateful because I had a place to lay my head. But I used to live in this basement, and like every other day, the water was overflowing and shit would come out, and I had to endure that shit. And it was
Mhm.
dark. It was very dark. That was the right time when I started moving here, and I used to go at uh Elizabeth Ave. I can't
Mhm.
remember it was in Newark, working overnight in
Okay.
the hood. In the
Yeah.
hood, seeing some crazy shit.
Yeah. That's the hood for
And I used to get paid 850. I only worked Saturdays and Sundays overnight. They don't want to give me more shift. I had to pay $20 each time just to get my check because not they wouldn't bring it to me. I
wow.
used to get I used to get paid every 2 weeks, and I would get my check every three or when almost the month was over to get my check. I used to get two checks at once, even, right? And I would come home exhausted. My feet were killing me. Um, and just fall. And I there was these nights and days that, bro, I was starving, and I would just lie there in that darkness and just cry for days. And
Wow.
just, but every time I in that darkness, I would reach out to God and help me to take that pain, take that hunger, take that necessity, take it away, and just let me sleep and have a good sleep to give me strength to wake up and continue doing that shit all over again. And bro,
Yeah.
I could feel how that like slowly emerged around my body and gave me peace. And I would
Mm.
fall asleep, and it was a cycle because I was going through it,
Yeah.
and it kept coming. Stood there, I think 2 maybe 3 years because I was getting paid shit. There's nowhere to move,
Yeah.
and until I got out.
That's powerful, man. I'm glad to see you here, the better place we all go through things, man. But that's that, we hit rock bottom and we go through some real tough things, man. But yeah, that's powerful.
Yeah. Last question before we go.
Mhm.
If you had one word of inspiration for somebody that's a fan in your music, but not just a fan in music as you as a person, and is going through some things, what words of encouragement will you give them to uplift and keep going?
I would tell them that the storm is gonna pass.
Mm,
Storm is gonna pass.
mm,
It's crazy. I just told my sister that today. I'm such a like motivator. It's just like in me to just like encourage people. And I speak from just like experience and just like just knowing. Like just going through it myself. Like I would say, the storm gonna pass, man. If you got something you love, chase after it and embrace the process. Don't try to get there so fast. Be willing to learn everything that you're gonna go through. A lot of what we spoke about today. Like be open to that, but at the same time, work hard. Like and through that, if you're going through like some serious things in your life, the storm is gonna pass. As long as you don't give up. Keep going, man.
mm.
Keep going.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen, all the way from Perfect Sound Studios,
That's
Oski. My brother,
thank you.
thank you. Thank you for the
Appreciate it.
opportunity
Don't give it up
and having
again.
this amazing conversation.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me. I told you, listen, time gonna come. I got you.
It's an honor. It's an honor.
Thank you,
Before,
man. I appreciate it. Real talk.
same here, same here. Before we go, please tell the people they can find your music, social media, everything.
Man, y'all can find me on all social media platforms at Oski Music, OSKIIMUSIC. You can find my music on all streaming platforms. Follow me on social media, man. Stay tuned. I'm telling y'all gonna love what I got going on. I got a lot of music coming out. Join the movement, man. Perfect Sound Entertainment's the label.
Boom, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Go follow him, go support, go show him some love, go share his content. In order to support these amazing artists like him, you need to share the content. Go support and go show him some love. Make sure to like and subscribe our YouTube channel, DIOTALK TV. Go follow me on Instagram at Mr. All the videos, all the episodes have been uploaded to Facebook. Go follow me at Dio Mark King DS. I'm out, guys. Have a good night.
Good night, man.